Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
This may be earlier than most of us are used to getting up. I know y'all used to seeing this in the afternoons or the evenings. We're doing a morning brew podcast.
That's what we're calling it?
Yeah, that's why it's called Angry StarBLOKs. Like we are. So, all right, before we get started, just a little shenanigans to start the show. When you have to find some energy, are you a coffee guy or an energy drink guy?
I mean, that depends because I started working like heavily the way I've been.
Yeah.
Honestly, coffee don't really. Black coffee will do it to me, but
Oh yeah.
Them energy drinks, man. I did it Saturday, and that probably was the worst thing I probably could have done.
Yeah.
It was basically close to a 15-hour shift. I think it was 15.
God.
And man, I was dog tired, man. And I'm talking about, let's just say I had a Red Bull. That didn't really do anything.
Hey, listen, listen, because I was about to say, like, my sister got on me about it, and then you told me a new one when I drank a Red Bull when we were starting a couple weeks ago. Like, and I love a Red Bull. Like I worked for the distribution center, the Miller distribution center over in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And so that's when I got hooked on Red Bulls. They don't do anything for me, but I like the flavor. So
look, nah, man, they had me. It had me like crash out within maybe like a couple hours.
Yeah.
Then later on that night, probably about 8:30, I had a couple. Probably about 9:15, 9:20. I say I had 2 cups of black coffee, and that was probably something I probably shouldn't have done because I was up until like 2:30 that next morning. Still.
Yeah. So when I need to stay awake, like when I work the morning shifts, the 7 to 3s and that sort of thing. Yesterday I had a cup of coffee. Like I'll have a coffee when I got to work a morning shift. Otherwise, I'm fine with a root beer. I like a Red Bull, I should say. I like the flavors, and a lot of times, I mean, they will get me kind of amped and yapping, but like not anything that's just too far out of the thing. So look, man, welcome everyone that may be, readjusting your eyes and checking the schedule. It is true, which it's funny. We say morning brew. It's 12 o'clock on the East Coast, right? Like, so my friends that are watching this, Gabe and all the guys that, Benjamin and all that crew that we've been working with the last few weeks, they're all about to have lunch right now. So I don't know if it's necessarily morning brew, but it's early for me, baby.
I want to ask, who came up with the rule that lunch should be honestly, like, should be at noon? Like, who came up with that lunch should be at noon at 12?
So I would think, just thinking about, because everybody works 8 or 9 to 5, right?
Okay.
And so 12 is about the halfway mark. Most people get hungry every 4 hours. It's a good, like, especially if you work 8 to 5, you get an hour lunch. Which, by the way, shout out to everybody that's doing them 30-minute lunches. That is not adulthood. That is the most childish thing a business could do, is ask you to have lunch in 30 minutes. Whatever.
Yo, I'll tell you a funny story. So I used to work for this telephone place, man. They give you 30 minutes.
All right.
And it didn't matter. I don't care how fast you get across the street to go get something to eat. That line was long. So you're talking about maybe 7 minutes to walk there, 7 minutes to walk back. That's 14 minutes. Now you got 5 minutes. You got 5 to 7 minutes while you are actually ordering getting your food ordered, and you got to wait for that to be made, all of that. So that takes about
10 minutes. Yeah.
So you're looking at 21 minutes. So now within that 30-minute time, you got 9 minutes basically to scarf that food down and get back at your desk.
I'm telling you, the most childish thing that any business could ever do is ask you to have lunch in 30 minutes. So the job I had before, I was managing a front desk downtown. And so to be cheap and save money, my general manager was like, hey, start making the front desk take a 30-minute lunch break. Here's the problem with that. So in our industry, you know how it is. The same thing. You work in the hospitality industry. The times vary, right? Now there are slow peaks and high peaks where you're going to be busy somewhere. You're going to be slow. That's just part of it. But you never know what happens, especially in hotels. You don't know where when we're gonna, like my valet, I never knew when they might need a car, and so I can't send 2 valet at one time. Or if I have 2 valet on shift and one of them's gone to lunch, and then now I got 3 cars waiting. You know what I mean? Like you just can't predict those sorts of things. So a 30-minute lunch was wasteful because the other problem is like, all right, so let's say they go at the right time, and now they have to hurry and come back, and it's just like you described, man. You only get 21 minutes of that 30-minute lunch is transient. So you only got 9 minutes to actually, get your food or eat your food, and nobody can really digest food properly in 30 minutes. It's
look,
it's unreal, dude. It's the most childish thing that a business could do.
Bro, what I love was the audacity. If you're 5 minutes late, we're writing you up.
Yeah, but guess what? Here's the other thing. They would set the system to where you couldn't clock in and clock out inside of 25 minutes. So you had to take a 27-minute lunch.
So you automatically doomed for failure.
It's stupid, bro. It's dumb. The dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Like, if you can't give me an hour lunch, give me 4 15-minute breaks. That's better to me than a 30-minute lunch. Give me an hour lunch. Let's be adults. Treat me like an adult. I'll get off my soapbox. This daytime Bloka is a very different person. I might be the angry Puerto Rican today.
Yeah, I see. So, I've noticed, you have a particular damn hat on.
Well, I have it on with purpose because it's schedule day. Schedule day in the National Football League means that everybody's got hope, right? It doesn't matter if you had
the Las Vegas Raiders, the New York Jets, the New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys. Hold on. What other team am I missing?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes. If you're any of those teams. Nah, I think the Cardinals going to be stellar this year. Mm-hmm. If you're any of those teams, I'm gonna be honest with you. When does the fandom in you stop? Like when do you stop with this is our year, like the Cowboys or
the Cowboys will never stop. That's gonna be forever, right? That's always gonna be a thing. They got George Pickens, which I don't even have time for us to talk about that today. But them having George Pickens automatically made them like it's a lot of people in the National Football League that now see the Cowboys as contenders. And just because they got an offensive weapon, as if their defense isn't paper mache. Like, but that's the beauty of schedule day. And on schedule day, you can't help but start the feeling you just got your draft picks in, you're signing your draft picks, you filled what you think is filled some holes. It's a different level of excitement. And everybody's got that chance to be excited. And the reason I say that is because this time last year, we didn't think that the Washington Commanders would be a contender in the NFC East. Right or wrong?
Okay, you remember I said,
you said they weren't going to make the playoffs.
I said it. We were going to be a 7-win team.
Yep.
Or an 8. We'd be scrapping. Scrapping.
And what y'all win? Y'all won like 10 games, right?
We were 12-5.
12-5. Look, that's what I'm saying, man. Like everybody's got hope. It doesn't matter. So, like, I'll give you an example. And y'all, and to be fair, y'all's division is about to be a dogfight because the Cowboys do have offensive weapons now, right? They went and got Javonte Williams from Denver. They went and they traded for George Pickens. That's a trade they're going to regret. You add him to CeeDee Lamb and I forgot Ferguson. I think they're tight end and their quarterback.
Jake Ferguson is their tight end.
So they've got some pieces, and then you get Micah Parsons back. You get they've got some pieces that are going to make them good enough. But the thing is, the Giants defense is for real. Like, do not sleep on this Giants defense. You can sleep on a lot of things. Do not sleep on this Giants defense, bro. Their defense is for real. And then you add Abdul Carter to that. We talked with your nephew a while back about Sexy Dexter Lawrence, man. That dude he's a game wrecker all by himself. But then you got Brian Burns, you got Kayvon Thibodeau. Now you add Abdul Carter. The only thing I haven't really seen I know they had Deontay Banks a couple years ago, and he's been promising as a defensive back. Their defensive backfield still needs a playmaker in it, but when you got that kind of front seven that can create that kind of pressure, I mean, like your defensive backfield has no choice but to look better, right? Like because you ain't got time.
My thing is though, granted, I mean, I hope I'm not looking at like a team that has defense and defensive skilled players, and you sit there and you look at the team, you're like, yeah, man, they look good on paper defensively, but offensively,
they're gonna be fun on Madden. They're gonna be fun on Madden.
But defensively, offensively, who do they have? Who's their quarterback?
So that's a good question. So all right, so the one thing that we know is they've got a solidified running back in Tyrone Tracy Jr. That dude. He came from Purdue. He used to be a receiver, so he's a weapon in a lot of different ways. Obviously you got Malik Neighbors. I think they went out and got him a wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. Long term, we know they're looking at Jackson Dart long term, but in the short term, it's Dangerous and bless you and the great Jameis Winston, Super Bowl winner Jameis Winston. But like that's just, I mean, like, so those two guys will manage the offense enough around the run game that I would presume what Brian Dable's going to do. And if he doesn't do this, he's got to be looking at a hot seat. At some point, you're supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, and you couldn't get Daniel Jones to play well. And maybe that's Daniel Jones, but we're going to see, because you got three capable, as Mike Tomlin says, varsity quarterbacks that can make some plays. But they are in the NFC East. They are looking at right hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. They are looking at the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So we don't expect them to win 10 games.
They signed Zach Pascal from Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, that's not a playmaker. The running back.
Still not. No, he's a wide receiver. I'm still not a fan. He's 6'2", 215. He spent time with the Commanders in 2017, the Titans in 2017.
But they also still have Darius Slayton, and they've got Theo Johnson. They like Theo Johnson at tight end.
Tell me when the hell Darius Slayton has been relevant.
Well, maybe you get him a new quarterback, and he might become relevant. Listen. This is the ultimate team game. You got to have somebody that's capable of getting the ball to him. I would presume.
I don't care if you're the New York Giants or the New York Jets. You share a shitty stadium in the swamp. I don't care.
It is a swamp. I rode by it when I was in New York City. It's a swamp for real. So look, man. All right. So tell me, have you looked at your schedule yet?
Yeah. I'm excited. There's a couple that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the one game I think I'm really looking forward to is to seeing what Mr. Ben Johnson does with
the
Chicago Bears. I want to see what he does with the Chicago Bears.
We were talking about that last night. So normally that's a early Sunday afternoon game, Bears and Commanders, and they've been going at it. They've met several times over the last 10 years. I don't know what it is
every single year, but it's normally either on a Thursday. It's normally on a Thursday night football game, or it's early afternoon 3, or like last year was supposed to be primetime 3:00.
Right.
But it wasn't, because guess who was playing at that time? Kansas City.
Okay, yeah.
So Kansas City was playing, so they blacked out. They blacked out that game, which not well.
And I'll tell you the other thing. I didn't want to say it this way, but I to be honest with you, the reason why it ended up the way it ended up is because y'all got moved out, because even though the Commanders were playing really well, the Bears were like falling apart, and they had to fire their head coach, and you got the number one quarterback and number one player in the draft, but like they weren't winning the way they were supposed to. That as a matter of fact, you guys were the reason that the Bears, like, that was the start of the landslide for them, and it started to go down. Shout out my guy Doug, my old college roommate and a good friend of mine. We were talking the other night, and he constantly refers back to the Hail Mary play that cost them the game. that after that, like everything just started to go downhill for the Bears after that Commanders loss. But and obviously there's renewed hope with a very intelligent offensive mind that's coming to Chicago, and Caleb Williams. We would expect to see that jump. Do you expect to see a sophomore slump from Caleb or Jaden going into this season?
I actually think with the better system and being under Johnson and the fact that he went into the season, the start of it when he signed, he first said, "Man, we're gonna change the culture. We're definitely changing the culture. We're tired of you gotta be tired of losing at some point."
Shadur said they were going to change the culture too, and everybody got upset about that.
Look, hey, but you see not change subject real quick, but that dude ball. I know it's just mini camp, but he balling out. He balling out at Cleveland.
Listen, that bar is as high as your ankle. That's not that hard, but I get what you're saying. It's
wow.
I'm not.
Will you just stop shitting on the Browns?
They're already brown. They're shitting on themselves.
There's something wrong with you, man. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, my therapist says the same thing. So look, all right. I'll tell you this. You were talking about the sophomore slump. I'm sorry. I'm shenanigans. So what about Jaden? What do you expect to see from Jaden going into this second season?
I expect to see him not run as much. I kind of want to see him in the pocket, but that's why we went out, with our pick in the first round this year, and we picked up an offensive lineman. We were smart. We realized we needed it. You got to protect your franchise quarterback, number one. Number two, you got to give him time to throw the ball. He can't be sitting there running for dear life every single time, And I get that's how he makes plays and things like that. I wonder how long it's going to take before we punt the ball again. Because I remember it was like 6 or 7 games before we punted the ball.
Oh, yeah. It was a long – y'all had a nice streak of just scoring field goals and touchdowns. I'm looking at the schedule.
I'm excited about that. Like, I really am. I don't know. Like, you look at it and you're just like, man, it'd be really, really great if he, doesn't run the ball, as much. We definitely need. I feel like I'm not sold on Brian Robinson as a running back. I think he's more of a third down. Change the pace back.
Did y'all get rid of? Y'all got rid of Austin?
No, we still have Austin.
Austin Eckler. Yeah. I mean, well, then you should be in a solid place. But then y'all picked up a running back too, right?
Yep. We sure did.
What's his name?
I'll tell you in a second. I was looking at because I'm confused on this schedule because I'm looking at it on the thing and it tells me that the Commanders play the Giants on September 7th.
Correct.
Right? And then 4 days later they play the Packers?
Thursday night. Sure do.
And I'm just like, wow, to start the season off, man. Like we play that Sunday and we turn right back around and play that Thursday. And I'm just like, against the Packers,
Yeah.
I'm like looking at that. I'm just like, man, I know I'm not reading this wrong, man. Like, I don't know.
You're not.
I like the strength of schedule. I do think, if you're looking at teams from last year, when you're looking back at the teams from last year, you're kind of looking back and saying, okay, the strength of schedule, Jordan Love's going to be really good this year. Hopefully he doesn't, do what he did in the playoffs and, stink it up.
I hope he does.
But he does have a receiver in Golden, which I definitely was excited about. The Golden ticket.
I like it.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I really do. I really I enjoyed seeing that, man. I think it was definitely great. Definitely great. But we re-signed Jeremy Nichols, KJ Osborne. Basically, Jeremy Nichols. That was our running back. We re-signed, which is great. We have Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, Marcus Mariota resigned, Bobby Wagner resigned, Zach Ertz resigned,
Yeah,
John
that's good.
Bates.
That was a good one.
I like John Bates. I think he's one of those reliable. Okay, when you're running a double tight end set, Zach
Yep, he's a
Ertz,
great blocker.
is covered. You
Great
still
blocker.
have another at least reliable pass catching tight end. He's more of a blocker, but he can still get out there. I'm looking forward more this year to see what we do with Ben Sinnott. I was high on him last year.
Yeah, you were. You kept bringing him up.
I'm really high on him, and I really hope he's learned a lot from Zach Ertz and John Bates. I hope he gets an opportunity to get in that starting lineup. Hopefully, he does something this camp where he may push the that thought process where he can be the starting tight end, or at least the second string. But I'd like to see him get a little bit more burn. I'm excited, for our schedule. I think I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking forward towards. The games I'm highlighting on my calendar will be September 21st, the Raiders.
Okay. Why the Raiders? Why the Raiders?
Why? One, because I have a friend named Johnny Cash Barrera.
Hello. Look out.
Who tried to tell me who tried to tell me in a Facebook post earlier today. Tagged me in a post too, by the way. And said that my team, why are these fools talking to me about my team when one team hasn't been there and the other one has only won one chip? So I looked at him and I said, well, man, maybe you need to Google this because we've won 3. So he goes and turns around. He goes, those were as the Redskins, as the Commanders, you have 0. And I'm like, it's still the same team. It's still the same damn team.
Yeah, so speaking of Raiders fans, shout out my man Miguel, who promotes a lot up there in Northwest Arkansas. And I got to give a special shout out to maybe the greatest Fanatic Sports podcast fan, Sarah, who also is a Raiders fan. So she's gonna be ready to see you on September 21st too. I think they're gonna be that might be a renewed team because Ashton Junty is a really good running back. In case you hadn't heard.
Yep. But as I mentioned to him, I told him, I said, in the 3rd game of the season, Pete Carroll will be fired. And midway through the season, Geno Smith will be benched.
I can see that, actually. And you know who else is a Raiders fan? Worm. Big Jeremy. Yeah. Jeremy's a Raiders fan. So we might have to do a live broadcast. We might have to do a live watch September 21st.
I apologize in advance. Those are boys from Run Your Mouth podcast. Yeah. Look. I'm not concerned about the Raiders, but I have that on my calendar so I can troll after that game towards 3 o'clock that afternoon. I'll be trolling. But like I said, I got that marked down on my calendar. I have the Bears and Commanders. Definitely, that's a Monday night game. Prime time, which I'm looking forward to. And I think I'm out of the last 2 games will be the Chiefs and the Lions. No, October 27th is the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. That's
gonna be a test for y'all. Yeah,
and then
that's
Detroit at Washington. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what that does. So I'm a lot, other than that, I'm not really too worried about any other teams. Am I worried about the Dolphins? Am I worried about the Seahawks, the Vikings? I don't know who the hell their quarterback's going to be. We're not sure. The Broncos, I ain't too worried about. The Cowboys, I'm damn sure not worried about. The Falcons, that's a team I might be a little scared about because of Michael Penix Jr. and giving him a full second year. That's a team I might be scared about. And the Packers. Other than that, all the rest of the teams, they can, SMD. But I'm not going to, if you need to understand what that means, then, that's whatever. But I didn't curse. I just acronym.
No, I didn't jump. That's not a dollar. It's an acronym. That's fine. So, all right. So finally, we got done talking about trash football. And we're going to talk about the best team in the football league. The Pittsburgh Steelers, in case you hadn't heard, they are retooled defensively with
who's the quarterback?
You ask a lot of questions that need not answer. What game? And I'll tell you. Because it's going to be against the Jets, it's going to be Mason Rudolph. We'll be fine against the Jets and The
You talking about
Seahawks,
the soon to be wannabe or wanted to be astronaut or NASA's NASA college guy. He had an opportunity to go and work for NASA. Decided he wanted to play.
It says a lot that a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback can go be an astronaut.
But here's my thing, though. He chose to be a second string quarterback in the NFL. Listen, to not be an astronaut. Make sense.
Let me tell you why none of this matters, okay? Because number one, we got the best running back in the draft, not Ashton Johnson, Caleb Johnson. That kid is gonna run all over everything.
Y'all said the same thing about Najee Harris.
And he had 1,000 yards every year.
I love the hesitation there. I love it.
I had to think of a comeback.
Feed me more. Come on, feed me more. Feed me more bullshit.
Whatever. Listen, our defense is going to score 3 touchdowns a game.
Defensive? Yeah, I can see that.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I hate our schedule, and I'm not excited about this season. I don't know.
Y'all are playing on the 28th. Y'all playing in Ireland.
Ugh.
Y'all playing in Ireland.
But here's why I hate the schedule the most, right? Not only do I not like playing across the pond because the weird timing, because at 8:30 a.m. I will be in Sunday school, okay? I don't have time to watch football at 8:30 a.m. I'm going to be in Sunday school learning about Jesus and praying that we'll get a quarterback next year. So, secondly, what's worse than that is because of the odd hours with the football with traveling back, they have to have their bye game after the bye week after that game. So that's week 5. And so then that means from week 6 to week 18, that's 13 weeks in case you count them, folks. 13 straight weeks of having to play foosball. And then like not too long after that,
foosball's the devil.
Well, this year. Then the worst of all, in case you can't see, I don't know if it's a little blurry for everybody else if my computer's slow, but after that bye week, we play Cleveland, and then we play Thursday night in Cincinnati or something like that. Like it's so.
Yeah, Thursday night football. I'm looking at it right now. I honestly think y'all have a really, really cream puff schedule.
Yeah. The schedule is easy, but trying to be healthy through 13 straight weeks is hard enough by itself. And then let's not hope by like that last game in the season before the Ratbirds, when we play Cleveland, let's not hope Shedeur comes in and rips us apart.
Well, I do have a question for you, man.
Okay.
So I was sitting here just thinking about it just now. All right. If y'all make it to the playoffs and lose in the first round again,
which I fully expect us to do. Is it time?
No. When do we start putting Mike Tomlin on the hot seat? Because I don't care how many times you make the playoffs, if you ain't doing shit with it.
Let me tell you something.
And you see how fast we firing coaches now.
And that's the problem with the National Football League is nobody's got time to actually do anything. However, I will tell you this. I can tell you with great certainty, I do not expect us to win a playoff game this season. Because until we get elite quarterback play.
You need a quarterback. You need someone to throw the ball, man.
Well, to be fair.
Pick up Chad Pennington. He might be able to throw the ball at least 15 yards.
To be fair, we did in the 6th round pick up the national champion quarterback who threw for 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns. So, I mean, I don't know.
Even your dog just left out the door because he heard that bullshit.
That's a good doggy. What I'm telling you is that if we play Steelers football, which is tough defense and hard-nosed running, and then we run the play action pass off of that, and he's coming back because I'm telling the truth again. If we play Steelers football with somebody like either Mason Rudolph or Will Howard, we've got an opportunity to win 10, 12 games. I'll call it that. I think we'll win 10 to 12 games because let's not act like this defense isn't crazy. And then, by the way, we go and we get Darius Slay Jr., who I know is 32 or 33 or something like that, but he can play defensive back. Y'all need a defensive back, but I won't get into that. Whatever. I'm telling you that we've got some pieces defensively that are going to make us really, really good.
Making my head hurt.
If you don't. Speaking of head
Darius Slade Jr.
Is he big play Slay or not? You tell me.
No. Okay. He's lost a step.
Oh boy. Well,
why do you think the Eagles got rid of him?
Because they got 2 young corners who are good as well.
Exactly, and that man is old.
We play zone. It doesn't matter if you're old.
Look, it don't matter. Move him to safety, and then we can definitely talk. Move him to safety.
Well, not safety, but we'll probably put him at like nickel, dime back, whatever. It's not important. The point is, our defense is going to be great again, and our offense is going to be relatively sort of kind of good enough. And we'll win 10 games, and we'll go get put out by the Bills in the first round. Is what it is. I'm fine with that. We got 13 picks next summer, and we're going to package them and get the top 3 pick. We're going to get Archman in, and we're going to be great forever. There, I said it.
On to the next segment. I'm done.
This is our year 2027.
Look, I'm done talking. You know what? You know. This is
well, good. We got something more. We got 15 minutes left. This is. I got something really important to talk to you about. It's the Pacers. Let's talk about the Pacers.
You mean the Knicks?
Who? The team that's gonna lose to the Pacers?
The Knicks. The Knicks, sir. The Knicks.
Do you want to talk about them today?
The who?
Do you want to talk about them today?
Look, man. The Knicks. I'll talk about the Knicks. Yeah, I'll talk about the Knicks.
What are they gonna do in Game 6? They better do their part.
Right now, man. I'm not even gonna put the whole damn hat on. I'm gonna just leave it like this, man.
Dead ass, B. If
head ass was a person, this is me.
They're in game. It's Game 6. You do not want to go back to Boston.
We're not going back to Boston, man. Get this out of your head, man. We already knew what was going to happen, man. They were playing. Look, it took Tatum to get injured for them to wake up. But they are 8-2. Look, 8-2 in the regular season. Listen, they're 8-2 in the regular season. 8-2 in the regular season without Tatum.
And then they won 2 games.
No. I'm not done talking here, sir. They're 8-2. Without Tatum, they have a championship caliber team. But it's still go New York, go. And that's what you should be saying right now in honor of our bet, sir.
I'm rooting for the Knicks to get to the finals.
Thank you.
Because I want to see them against Minnesota.
Yes. That'd be great.
Angry hot take. Minnesota's going to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the conference finals. Yep. There, I said it. Angry hot take brought to you by Mr. Details.
Wow. That's really don't worry about nothing.
Yeah. Mr. Details, Angry hot take brought to you by Angry Bloka this morning.
You are really angry today, man. We need to do more morning segments, man, because this is the angriest I've seen.
Piping hot mad, morning brew Bloka. I'm going to tell you now, I got Minnesota beaten, and not just beating Oklahoma City, but beating them in 6.
Wow.
There, I said it.
Well, you know what I love about our team, about the Knicks, is the fact that we win tomorrow night. All right, we win tomorrow night, 6:30 game, Central, 7:30 Eastern. All right, we win Game 6. We get a little rest, but we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to travel. We're the home team. We are the home team. We have home. Yeah. Yep. That's why I'm like, yeah, man. You know what? That's fine. That's fine.
All right. Okay. So we're at 35 minutes. I need to ask you this before we call it. Is the NBA lottery rigged?
Yes.
They had less than 3% chance of winning the
1.8. 1.8%.
Is there any chance that Nico? Well, no, I'm sorry. He's already announced that they're drafting Cooper Flagg. So
yes.
Clearly he's not going to do that stupid thing. What's the next stupid thing that Nico Harrison does? I got to look and see which old player is up for free agency. I think Nico's going to overpay for him. That's my go-to. I
don't know, man. I don't know, because it's like maybe this was the plan all along.
That's what they say.
Maybe this was the plan all along. Because if you look at rookie highlights, if you look at the highlights rookie year of Luka Doncic, you're like, wow. And then you see the bigger version of Luka, and he's still averaging 30. He put on a little bit more weight, but they gave him a little bit more weight than he was supposed to.
Let me tell you something, dude. Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, those guys they could be 180 pounds, they could be 380 pounds. The way they play basketball doesn't require they're European. Europeans play basketball without athleticism. And so for that, there's no such thing as being out of shape, or they only need endurance to be able to last to the end of the game. And if you're a smart coach, you know how to manage their minutes and make that possible for them. So right. There's no if you're saying that Luka is out of shape was a scapegoat, when really you just you don't like Luka Doncic because he doesn't play well with others. And that's fine. To be completely honest with you, I would have done that too. But I'm not trading for Anthony Davis, bro. I hadn't said this on air, but maybe 30,000 times. But I'm not trading for a 33-year-old oft-injured power forward when Sacramento traded De'Aaron Fox, who is half as good as Luka Doncic. Not to say De'Aaron Fox isn't amazing, but Luka Doncic at 25 years old has done more than some people will do in their career already in the 7 years he's played. And he is all you got was a 2029 first round and a 33-year-old power forward. Look,
I'm going to tell you something that I think that bothers me even more real quick. Besides the fact about the NBA lottery and what Nico Harris did and all of that.
Okay.
Look, I have to be honest. When do we actually start putting a little bit more blame on these teams that are constantly losing? Washington Wizards, the Utah Jazz are prime examples of terrible franchises.
I'll tell you what. So I was telling somebody this the other day. So I had a conversation with a scout from the Hornets. I don't remember his name, and if I did, I wouldn't say it. But he was in Fayetteville recruiting or scouting Dan Gafford, current Maverick center. And looking at him, I just said, hey, man, what's the deal? And we were talking about a couple different things and talking shop. And he said the organization, talking about the Hornets, had not scouted properly to understand what the type of players they need to win in their market. Right? The Knicks got plenty of money. They got plenty of draw. They got lots of media and all sorts of things that makes it attractive. But they've got a fan base that's angry and fiery and passionate, and they're going to make you play better or they're going to run you out of town. Charlotte doesn't have that. Charlotte kind of doesn't care like that. They care, but not that much. And so you got to have players with work ethic. So
I really think they need to, and this is beyond, I don't care about the work ethic. I don't care about any of that, man. I think these teams should be faulted draft picks. If you want to constantly keep drafting, and drafting real high and not do anything with it, look how smart OKC was.
Sam Presti's super smart.
But here's the thing, though. He was playing chess, not checkers.
So, all right, I'm gonna give you an example of how of the greatness of Sam Presti. And this is a story I want to wrap it up with. So shout out to Click Productions. He's a big time YouTuber. And he does a lot of things on YouTube, but I found him, he's mostly known for his 2K simulation content. Big stuff. So the video I watched was probably from about 7 months ago, where he did a random wheel of draft classes, right? So like the 2017 team with or draft class with Trae Young and Luka Doncic in that group. The 2011 draft class with like Kyrie and Kawhi and Jimmy Butler in that group. And Isaiah Thomas, a lot of different great players that pop out. Giannis's draft class. So he did a random wheel of draft classes for the 2000s. So it started in like 2011 or something like that, right before or right as the Heatles were winning, or maybe they hadn't even. This was the year when they lost to the Mavericks, something to that effect. He started the era's simulation at that time, and so you know what you know who you saw being really really good during this entire simulation, Oklahoma City, because they had 3 MVP level players on their team, right? And in real life, this team would go on to a finals championship or finals appearance and lose to the Heat in 5. And then, but you would see throughout this decade, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden all become MVPs, right? That's smart. If you look at some of the other simulations that Click does with 2K, and a lot of other people do it as well, and the team that's always really, really good, doesn't matter what era in the last 25 years, if you look from the last 20 years, from 2010 till 2000, so in the last 15 years, from 2010, 2015 to 2000, or 2010 to 2025, you see the Oklahoma City be really, really good because Sam Presti is really, really smart. And so even when he lost 2 of his 3 MVP level players, he still was able to go and forecast and say, hey, Clippers, you want Paul George? Here's what you need to give me. You need to give me your 24 pick and your 26 pick. Keep that 25 pick for yourself. Why? Because in 24, there's a guy named Wembayama, right? In 26, there's a kid named Cooper Flagg. Who's the best draft pick out of 25? We don't know and we don't care because we're not taking that draft class. That's genius level forward thinking, right? So while they haven't won a championship yet, you got to believe at some point he's going to put together the team that does it. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I just said that the Wolves are going to beat the Thunder, but the Thunder are going to be good for another decade, bro.
Yeah, and here's the thing, real quick before we wrap it up. 1, Denver's pushing to the limits. That's 1.
Oh, without doubt, yeah.
2, there's one thing you definitely got to look at when you're looking at what they have. They're going to have to pay these players. Do they have enough money to sign these players?
Well, I mean, I think that's the brilliance of it because, first of all, you understand, let's say Shea, which I think they've already paid Shea, right?
I think he's still on contract. I think he's still on that contract from LA.
Well, if they say they can't come to terms with Shea, they've got a European guy that they've been sitting on for a year and a half named Nikola Topic, who can be just as good, not necessarily at scoring as Trey or dynamic as scoring as Shea, but he can be that play setter, table setter that sets up a lot of these guys that can ball. You see what they did with Josh Giddey, sending him to Chicago, and they brought back perimeter defense. And by the way, they got picks for the future, right? They got 28 and 30 picks that are going to be really good. I don't know, as long as Sam Presti is the GM, I don't know that they'll ever be a weak team again. And if they are, it won't be too long before they'll be really, really good with really young stars again. That's just the way he moves, man. So, all right, man. Well, we appreciate everybody that jumped on and joined us for this morning brew. This morning brew, angry morning brew, apparently. So
right.
We're gonna jump on again some point, probably Sunday, maybe Sunday afternoon for a little bit to talk about, to wrap up this round of the playoffs, and to talk more about the upcoming matchups in the NFL, There's baseball. I don't know if you heard, but baseball's starting. The WNBA starts this weekend. Sports all year round, and we're here to cover all of it on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. But we appreciate everybody joining us.
Go Knicks.
And go Knicks.